So I'm going to talk about 6 trademarks of successful agile transformation. Now, this is based on my own experience of working with different companies over a period of time, and also certain research that I've been doing for the last 1 year and trying to find out what is that which makes certain companies so successful in, transforming themselves into an agile towards agility, and certain companies, in spite of the fact that they try so hard, they are not able to do so. Now, these are based on my personal observations and research and experience. So we'll go through them one by one. So the first one is very, very obvious. Successful companies have been able to, culturally align their own values to the values that are supported by agility. Now, a lot of companies where I have consulted and I've worked have said that they have been very successful in aligning their cultural values towards agile values. But then it is very difficult, right? How do you find out exactly what it is? And the only way is to talk to people and observe them. So whatever I have written in these next 2 slides is based on my observation of talking to people and through observation. So these are certain statements which I found in companies who have successfully transferred into agile organizations. And these are certain statements which are made by their people coming from different strata of the organization. Now, the first one is very simple. It says, I feel completely safe with my team. Now, this translates that organization has been very successful in creating a culture of psychological safety. Which is paramount in creating towards the journey of agile organization. Now, psychological safety, as you all know, all you must be knowing about Google and Project Aristotle. Psychological safety is nothing but, I do not feel vulnerable before my team members. I can take risk and I can talk to anyone. I can make mistakes and still I can be successful. Now, when you create a culture of psychological safety, many other things start falling in place. So if you look at the second value, which a lot of people have said, we respect and value each other. The third one is we accept all ideas equally and never judge. Now, these are some traits which fall directly from a culture of psychological safety. Moving to third one, which is very, very important for agile teams. I live up to my commitments, but I'm not a hero. Now, what it translates to is many companies who have successfully transferred to agility have, abolished this culture of what is a superstar culture or rockstar culture. So everyone is treated equally, everyone is given equal chance, and it is expected that everyone will be able to perform to superstar level. So the superstar culture has been abolished in many of the organizations which have moved successful to agility. Moving forward, team has become important, individual has become secondary. So we never place blame on an individual.
Sapna, some people video.
Hello.
So there was a noise, I think. So those who are not unmute, please. Then if there is continuous noise, I will mute all. Looks like it is gone now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So the sixth one, if you look at it, is very, very pertinent. We celebrate failure. In fact, Jeff Bezos was in India a couple of months back, and Shridhar was kind enough to, tell me about a video or an interview that he did with ITV, where he talked about the, celebrating the culture of failure. Now, what it really translates is basically they're not celebrating failure, but what they are celebrating is the learnings that has come from the mistakes that they have made or the failures that they have encountered. So it's a great experience or a great learning experience for teams who celebrate, who have this kind of culture where they celebrate failures, because the focus is on learning. And the last one in this slide is, if I miss a deadline, I communicate to my team and figure it out a way to recover. Now, this is very important human value. We all are humans. We do make mistakes. We may miss deadlines sometimes, and agile organizations realize this trait. There are people, they are all humans. They may miss some deadlines, but as a team, we will try and figure out what we can do about it. Moving forward, if you look at the first one, I am here for my team and they are here for me. Now, this is one very, very interesting traits which came from many companies where I was consulting. And they said that, it's not only professional help that we get from our teammates, but also in personal space. So people are here to help me out in both my professional as well as my personal space. And that is very, very interesting. The second one would be very unique. And I believe a lot of people would like this. We get rewarded as a team and not as an individual. Now, many companies which I have consulted have done this. They have done away with personal appraisal. So individual is not appraised. What is appraised is a team. So if a team is there with 5 people, 7 people, everyone will get the same rating depending upon the performance of the team. So individual appraisals are out, and this one factor has, given huge amount of reward or recognition to an organization when they move towards agility. This is one single important factor which has transformed team to high performing teams. The fourth one is again very interesting. Face-to-face communication is a great way to interact. Now this comes one from agile values also. And in my experience, I've come across many companies in Bangalore itself where they say that they've eliminated or completely eliminated the use of emails within the teams. Well, I do not agree to that 100%, but yes, they would have minimized the use of emails, because what they have done is they are talking to each other more. They're talking on phone, and they're using whiteboards and as many spaces as available in office to interact with people. And if the need arises to send an email, first they go and talk, and after that they send an email. So this was one very, very interesting observation which I had. And the last one is for the leaders, right? All the top managers, right from VP to team managers to executives and all. In successful companies, they've realized that their role is that of a servant leader. And servant leader job is to make other people successful. And this does not only imply only in professional sphere, but this applies as well as personal sphere as well. So these are certain cultural traits that I've identified, and they came directly from the people who were part of the agile teams, and teams who at least I can say they were successful in towards their agile journey. The second traits that I identified in my research was strategic alignment. Now, this is very important trend as far as the top management is concerned, because strategic alignment means what the company is trying to achieve over a period of time, long run and short run. So it translates into the vision and mission of an organization. Now, if the vision and the mission of an organization also, imbibes agility, or it speaks the language of agility, then the transformation is highly successful. If it is not, then what happens? The executives try to speak the language of agile, whereas the board members and other people do not accept to that. And what happens in the end is you create a culture which comes out to be a working culture, which is neither agile nor it's traditional. So it's somewhere in between, and your agile transformation gets failed. So certain organizations where I've been working and I've been talking to have successfully change their strategic alignment, and which translates into these many words. So these are some certain examples which I have taken from vision, mission, and board of directors reports, etc., etc. So the first one was creating wealth for the organization. Now, when the organization transforms itself to an agile organization, the change is to delight the customer is our focus. The other one said focus on efficiency and predictability. But when they move to agility, they say transparency and continuous improvement is going to be a strategic alignment. Now, third one is very, very interesting. Now, this organization is unique in itself. So it says capture value from our competitors, customers, and suppliers for our shareholders. Now, this was hidden somewhere in the director's report. And, the focus was on shareholders than anyone else. But then move to agility, they change it completely. And hello.
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Okay. So they change it completely, and what they wrote instead of this, we co-create value with all for our stakeholders. So you see how the word stakeholders got prominent, right? Prominence. And stakeholders means your customers, your suppliers, your employees, and also your shareholders. So the focus is now on all four, and not only your shareholders. And this is the beauty of strategic alignment towards agility. The second last one, we do it right the first time. Now, many organizations have this, many organizations. But then when they moved to agility, they realized this is not something which will imbibe agility. So the change is to we learn from our mistakes, right? And the last one is organization as a machine. Now, this is something, a strategic alignment, which was promulgated mostly by companies like Ford, who followed the principle of scientific management way back in early 1900s. But when they started their journey towards agility, they realized that organization is not a machine. but it is more as a living organism. So two important factors that I have come across is cultural alignment and strategic alignment. Moving to third one. Now this is very interesting. If you look around in Bangalore and Pune and all IT hubs, you will find many companies are failing in their transformation at this stage because they are not able to scale beyond the pilots. If you look at the success rate at the pilot level, the success rate is around 95%, right? And when you start scaling, the success rate comes down to 45%. So why is that so? So I tried to do little bit research on that, and I spoke to many executives and many consulting firms who were working on this area, and I realized that the reason why certain companies were able to, successfully scale beyond pilots is because their senior executives, the top management, devoted a lot of time on agile transformation. Now, this is what McKinsey says, around 10% of their total time they devoted on agile transformation. And what they were doing, they were coordinating, they were collaborating, and they were managing dependencies. Now, it relates to cultural alignment, it relates to strategic alignment, it relates to building agile capability within the organization, right? It creates to creating competency centers within the organization, creating coaches within the organization, and creating most important thing, which is the backbone of the organization, right? Now, backbone is something which I'm going to talk in next slide. So just hold on for a minute. This is very, very interesting. The backbone of the agile organization. I'm going to come back to it after a minute or so. And see, the transformation at the senior executive level, they believed in empiricism, right? What it means, empiricism says simply that not everything is known, we learn as we go. So senior executives in successful organizations started believing in empiricism. They started believing in agile values, servant leadership, new culture, new mindset. And most important part was that they understood that agile transformation or agile scaling up takes time. It takes typically 3 to 5 years. Now, this is based on study of more than 100 organizations. It can go a little bit 6, it can be 2.5 years, but this is the average of it. So why they were able to why they were successful in scaling beyond the pilots is because of these reasons. And this is very, very important reason with respect to IT organizations. Moving on. Yes, as I said in the last slide, I'm going to talk about stable backbone. Now, what do you mean by stable backbone? Now, one, I would say misinformation about agility is agility all about speed and flexibility. Now, that is true only to a certain extent. Agility means speed and flexibility, but there needs to be a certain backbone in the organization to support that kind of agility, right? So what I mean by backbone is, I'll give you an example. If you look at a smartphone, so according to me, a smartphone that everyone has today is the best example of a live-in agile organization. So what is stable in a smartphone? You have a stable hardware, right? Without which the mobile will not work. You need to have a very stable operating system, right? And you need to have a stable space. Now, space is an area where you have all the apps. Now, unless and until these three things are stable, the mobile phone will not deliver the expected value or the expected result. Now, if you transfer the same thing to an agile organization, so agile organization who have been successful, they created a structure which became a structure within the teams and within the organization, which was kind of a primary home for people who can come there for training and coaching. Now, one of the major issues that I have been talking to a lot of people about, agile teams have been talking to me, is that agility is like, never-ending process, scrum after scrum, scrum after scrum, and we feel like orphans. Sometimes you're working in team A, then we move to team B and team C. There is no time in between. So what successful companies have done, they have created a structure so that, whenever people require or they need, or they feel like, they need a rest or they need something, a kind of coaching or kind of training, they can move back to those kind of structures within the organization which will support their needs for training and coaching. Now, these structures are inbuilt in an organization in such a way that a person or an individual never feels out of home. So structure is one important part. The second is the governance part. So wherever you are working, in whatever team you are working, whatever business you are working, there's complete transparency in the way decisions are made, resources are allocated, budgets are allocated. So it is uniform across the organization. It does not depend on a business unit, or there may be a little bit of difference depending on the business areas, but overall there's a uniformity. And the third thing is how an organization operates. So there's a standard language, a standing operating procedures, standard way how an team or how people will be evaluated in the organization. This is standard all across the organization. Now these three things are stable backbone. Now what I mean by stable backbone is these three things are stable in the sense they do not change over a period of 2 to 3 years, and that is the way they are stable. You do not see frequently changing, teams are changing frequently, so people are moving around here and there, then the training needs are not getting met, so those kind of things are not there. Stability means 2 to 3 years the same structure would prevail, and this is what lays the foundation of an agile organization. This has to be absolutely stable. Moving forward, now this is very interesting. No framework centricity. What I mean by this is, I'll just give you one small example. I was consulting for a company in Bangalore, and the second day of my second day when I went there, I was asked when I'm going to start the Scrum training. Now here we have not even evaluated the organization about whether they are agile ready, what is the readiness of the organization, how people are culturally aligned, and the top management wants our team to start implementing Scrum from day 2. So the focus is so much on frameworks, right? Whether it is Scrum or Kanban or SAFE or whatnot. So what successful companies have done, their focus is on creating a culture of agility, and then after that they try and find out which is the framework, because agile is an umbrella and there are a lot of tools and framework which are available under that. So whatever suits you, you pick one of them or two of them and you start working on them. So agility is all about learn, adapt, and excel. For example, you can take example of Spotify, right? The world-renowned company known for its agility. So what they did was they took Scrum as their framework and they adapted. So now they don't call it Scrum. Now it is called Spotify way of agile working. So what I mean to say is there should not be too much focus on frameworks. You try it out, which is the best one for you. First, the most important thing is to create a culture of agility, and beyond that, frameworks will automatically fall in place. Choose the best one and start working on it. It will take some time for you to become efficient in that chosen framework. So it requires a lot of time and effort. So successful companies were beyond frameworks, right? For them, transformation was something of which would be getting into a business value rather than a focus on frameworks. So this was one important aspect which I found in a lot of organizations which transformed themselves into agility. And number 6 was be authentic. Now these organizations were very authentic in the sense they did the right thing by learning from the best in the market. So it is great if you watch Spotify and ING videos, and it is even better if you go and work with those guys and see how they work. I believe they would appreciate that. But you should not copy it. Why? Because I have come across many people or many companies in the last couple of months where they have said that they just want to copy Spotify or Google culture into the organization, which simply doesn't work. So you cannot copy agile culture. Agility is something which you need to imbibe. It is a culture at the organization level and a mindset at a personal level. So you have to be original. You can learn from anywhere. I mean, there's a whole amount of data available to you. Learn from the best and then adapt it. So learn, think, experiment, improve, and scale. And this is what successful companies have done. They have not copied it as is from the masters in the business. And one thing, these were the 6 traits that I wanted to talk about. And one trait that I have not listed because I just wanted to restrict it to 6. But this one trait is there, which talks about top management eagerness to go agile, which says I want agile and I want it yesterday. So agility is not like that. It is a journey. It's a long run journey. It is a tedious journey, but a rewarding journey in the end, and you cannot do it over time. So you have to think, learn, and then adapt. This is what agility is all about, and successful agile companies have done precisely this. And this is what all I have to share with you, my 6 traits. And so guys, thank you so much for listening to me. And according to me, agile transformation is nothing but a journey towards building high performing teams.